Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the dynamic future of the automobile industry where rapid technological advancements and evolving consumer expectations are driving us literally into a new era of innovation. Now, as the world moves towards a greener future, the automobile industry is witnessing a transformative shift with artificial intelligence truly changing the way we travel, making it cleaner, safer, and so much more efficient. So setting the stage for a very intriguing conversation on the future tech in the automobile industry, please join me in welcoming Pavan Puri, founder and managing director, MD-Greencore Electronics. I think our quick setup for our next panel. I think I zoomed into the next era before the setup did. But ladies and gentlemen, we will have Pavan Puri, founder and managing director, MD-Greencore Electronics, Aditya Nanda, regional vice president, MongoDB, Ajay Chhabra, head of corporate business development and strategy, Microsoft India, Jasleen Kaur, founder and CEO-Indiawood Global, Prithvi Radhakrishna, Chief Content Officer, Carlelo. I'm announcing the names so that we're all on standby. And yes, we're good to go. So inviting our esteemed panelists to the stage and steering this very, very riveting conversation will be Saqib Malik, Deputy Business Editor at Republic Digital. So warm welcome to our esteemed panelists. Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sirs. Welcome, ma'am. We're really looking forward to this one.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's make a little fun frolic. Some more fun. It's automobile, and our country's automobile sector is in the fast lane. So why not to make it vroom vroom? I'll spell out a sentence and I'll ask you to complete it and let you know whether you're right or not. Vroom vroom, chalti ka naam? No, I'm so sorry. Chalti ka naam in today's day and age is not Gadi. My distinguished panel, chalti ka naam is EV. Chalti ka naam is e-mobility. Before I go to the more serious side and stop my Gadi, I'd like to go to my panelists right there. Jasleen, we're going through a paradigm shift wherein we are witnessing electric mobility, hybrid take over completely. There was a study recently by, several agencies, bodies, industry bodies, wherein they're talking about how we'll see integration of AI in automobile. It's rightly said that in days to come, automobiles won't be cars, they won't be vehicles, they won't be commercial vehicles, they'll be gadgets and gizmos. So how do you really look at that transformation of automobile industry embracing artificial intelligence and new age technology?
So I think first of all, we need to understand the larger contribution that AI is making, no matter what category, no matter what industry. The big impact that's coming out of AI is the automation, the processes are becoming stronger, they're becoming quicker. And wherever we see the automations kicking in, and I'm specifically talking from a women in the workforce perspective, we feel that women are getting integrated into the shop floors, into the manufacturing units way easier because of the automation and AI getting into. The second thing that I feel, and because you started off with EV, and I think that was right hitting the chord, because currently when you're talking about automobile industry, you can't really talk about the industry if you're not talking about the influx of sustainability and EV into the industry. And there are multiple reports and research that suggest that the circular economy, plant consumption, carbon emission, all of that can be drastically dragged down if we have both EI and sustainability coming into automobile industry. So yeah, that's the quick intro to how we feel AI is going to get integrated.
So, rightly said. I'd like to go on to Pavan. We've had the study that I was just talking about, NASSCOM and Meta has come out with a study a survey rather, saying that, the acceptability of artificial intelligence in the, whether it be the tech side, the software side, or even the automobile industry, we have lack of skill. We have lack of the skill pool. We don't have the talent pool yet. How do you really look at that?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I read about that. The word we are looking for is mechatronics. We are trying to find people who are knowledgeable in the stream of mechanical, electronics, electrical, and computers. That would be the right combination, and that is the future. We are actually going through a transformation in the automotive right now. 5 or 10 years ago, if you remember, for us, electronics in cars used to be power steering, power windows. Absolutely. That used to be electronics. Today, we are talking of ADAS level 1, level 2. We are talking of connected. We're talking of autonomous. We're talking of software as a service. I mean, SaaS. We have all kinds of gadgets and gizmos in the car as well, and to make our lives easier and safer. So, yes, I think the talent pool is not right there right now, but give it 5 years or 7 years, India will be the next Google and Microsoft of the world. Anyway, the Indians running that anyway, so it's just about time before Indians can actually come up with the right talent in all these respective fields.
That's wonderfully put across, and like to tell our viewers, as we are speaking, we have the world's first CNG bike being launched today in Pune. How fabulous is that? A round of applause for our country to actually give the world its first CNG-powered bike. I'd like to come to Aditya next. In terms of, we have hybrid, we have the electric vehicles, and now we have CNG coming in a motorcycle, in a motorbike. How do you really look at that? It's switchable. You have a CNG option and you have the petrol option. How do you really look at, hybrid and the dynamism of fuel, alternative fuel in terms of technology, from a technology prism point of view?
Thanks, Saqib. So you have to understand where our country is going, okay? This sector, the EV sector or alternate fuel vehicle sector, it's growing at a CAGR of around 49.8%, okay? And by 2030, what we are envisaging that we'll have almost 8 crore alternate fuel vehicles in India, primarily being led by EV because they started early, right? And to do this, what government has launched is something called FAME, okay, which is faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles. And they're giving different subsidies, they're giving different benefits for the people who are buying these things, right? But there are few challenges which are very pertinent to our country. And if we solve those challenges, right, I think as a nation, we are going to be at the forefront of alternate fuel vehicles, specifically being led by EV. Now, those three challenges, those three challenges are being solved, right? So the first challenge that is there is, do we have adequate power grid? Okay, because the first thing you need for EV or, because they're going to lead the segment, so I'm going to talk more about that, is do we have adequate power grid? The second is, do we have the charging infra? And the third is, do we have diversified, geographically located charging infra, right? You have to imagine we are a nation of different terrains, right? There is flooding, so there are parts of the country where waterlogging is like perpetual. So if we start solving these three things, the alternate fuel vehicles in our country, which are currently being led by four-wheelers, and now the two-wheelers are picking up with the CNG coming in, that's going to take a bolster-up approach, and we are going to see our nation leading the pack across the world because just of a sheer scale, right, on this alternate fuel. And those challenges which I spoke about, I think government is already talking about it, and now we have got a lot of private startups and organizations getting into the second and the third part of the charging infra coming into place, right? So I think we have got a bright future ahead from the alternate fuel standpoint.
You absolutely nailed it in terms of the alternative fuels. Another question to the audiences out here. How many of you really feel that the way we buy a car, whether it's a first hand or a second hand, is appropriate, this ease of buying a vehicle? If you may just raise your hands and tell me, how many of you feel you go out in a, outlet, you choose your car, the car is delivered to you well. So how many of you really second me? No hands up? None of you feel comfortable buying a car? Let's catch hold of Prithvi. Prithvi. Yes. So, the seconds market, we've spoken about artificial intelligence, we've spoken about technology in automobiles, we've spoken about the hybrid, but when it really comes to the end consumer of the fact of buying a car, actually, bringing a car home, you think the seconds market, or for that matter, the dealerships, could come on a cloud, could come on a platform. It could become more integrated and more organized. We don't have the car dealership platform organized as of now.
Yeah, you're totally correct. Actually, it's not that well organized. However, the used car market is booming. We have brands like Car Dekho, Car Wale, who have been there in the digital space. What we are trying to do is also we are trying to sell a user experience that Ritesh had also spoken about earlier, the user buying experience, which is very unique when it comes to buying automobiles online. So therefore, it again needs to be organized in a very certain and a very good way. So there, a lot of people, it's not like, buying a car is a big ticket item. So at the end of the day, people do think about it and they do take their time. So therefore, organizing that in a better way through AI and through multiple online platforms, I think it's just going to create a unique buying experience for the customers.
That's perfectly all right. Well said that we need, what has happened in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, we don't have this platform in an organized manner.
Yeah. So you have dealers like in the used car also, like you look at Car Dekho, they had, you look at multiple other platforms, digital online selling platforms. They also have their retail stores wherein, they're getting these dealers organized in a very, very systematic way where they would like them to sell used cars in very useful to the customer.
Ajay has been looking at me with that look that it's not just Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi and Chal Meri Luna. There's a tech side to it, a certain tech side to it. We'll certainly talk about technology, Ajay. As I mentioned about the research, the survey, NASSCOM and Meta has come out with significant survey. Apart from that, industry bodies keep talking about, we have the SIAM, the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, we have the FADA, we have the ACMA, Automotive Component Manufacturers Association, who keep talking about how the synergy is important. Where do you really feel the tech side of it can really step in? How much of a percentage-wise you think is involvement of technology side required so that we have new age technology being embraced by the automobile sector?
Thank you very much. And first of all, good afternoon and thanks for having me. If I look at the technology enhancement or the technology enablement which is happening on the auto side, I would like to put basically it's electrification which is happening, which is being enabled by all the technology, right? We see how we are changing from ice age to electrification, which is primarily being driven by the technology. The kind of batteries we are having, the kind of electronics which is there in the vehicle these days, these are all the new technology innovations which is making the vehicles go vroom vroom. Apart from that, we are moving from manually driven car to autonomous car, which is only and only possible if we have enough and more rich data. Anything which can work in India can work in London, it can work in Sao Paulo, anywhere, right? So this is a unique country where we have huge amount of data. Technology can enable to learn from that data and enable the autonomous driving. Today we see all the cars are connected cars. Gone are the days where you get calls from maybe a service center, hey, your service is due. You can clearly see on your car itself that, hey, your service was due 10 days ahead, right? So you can go and get those things done. Gone are the days where you wait for an upgrade for 3 years, 4 years. It's a yearly update cycle which is happening. How are these things getting enabled? These things are getting enabled by technology, not only on the shop floor, but also in the ideation stage. It is getting also enabled in the production stage and also in the operation stage. Look at what 3D imaging has done. You can actually go and do prototyping in a much, much easier manner. And it is much more cost effective. Look at what simulations has done. You don't need to be on the road. You can understand the vehicle behavior on the road itself by doing the simulation. So all in all, I think we're just scratching the surface. I think the next tagline is not going to be Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi. It is going to be Chalti Ka Naam Autonomous Clean Gaadi.
Wonderfully put. Chalti Ka Naam?
Autonomous Clean Gaadi. Self-driven, clean gaadi.
This is some aspiration and this is some encouragement for us to step into the next era of clean fuels. I'd like to bring in Pavan here. You know, we've spoken about alternative fuels, we've spoken about technology. Do you think it's realistic when we talk about, you know, our country to have the likes of Tesla come in? You think we can have actually Teslas on the road? Just a realistic view. A pointed, realistic view.
Interesting question. See, Indians love tech, right? And I don't see any reason why a company cannot come in like a Tesla in India, born in India. Because like I said, the software most likely is written by an Indian. The hardware probably is designed by an Indian. The only difference is that they are probably over there in that part of the world. But give it some time and yeah, I mean, Indians, you've seen that every time an OEM has tried to brought an automotive model which is outdated, thinking that India would be the right market, it has actually flopped. And when there are these car companies who are getting the latest tech, whether it is the BMWs or the Mercedes, when you get the latest tech, Indians are willing to spend and pay for it. So obviously there's a huge demand and a huge market for it. And therefore, I don't see any reason why a company like Tesla cannot come to India. Yeah.
That's again quite encouraging. And you know, at RBETA today, we had people from the virtual reality, we had people from the med tech, we had people from the fintech. We heard Ritesh with some wonderful insight into his business. But let me tell you, this panel is in the fast lane. Vroom, vroom, fast lane. So let me get a final comment starting from Prithvi. You know, you must have since morning spoken to people from across an arena. So just a quick comment from each one of you. How did you really feel at the event and what do you think is the way forward for RBETA?
See, it's a great opportunity and a platform for people to come and engage, also talk about the technological developments that each industry as a part, they're playing a vital role. When it comes to automobiles, there is a lot to be done, not only in terms of AI, in the connecting technology also, what's happening. And overall, it's a new phase. It's an exciting phase where AI is going to determine a lot of the futuristic tech which is going to be built out of our country and exported abroad, and obviously also helping the economy grow.
I think it has been extremely insightful. I think we have all been doing the same thing that Arnab summarized in the morning very succinctly, that next year, 10 years, it's going to be our decade. We have all been doing things on that silo in our own verticals or in our own jobs. But I think it had been insightful to hear it from him. More so, talking to other panelists and other folks around, you get to know that what's happening latest in technology, right? Otherwise, you are so busy in your day-to-day life that you only think that you can absorb from a technology standpoint is what you read on the news or what you get on your mobile phone, right? But what is actually enthralling and engaging is when you talk to other folks in and around you and understand that, you know, what is the next level of technologically innovation that is happening. And I think the example that Ritesh gave about that gentleman in Bihar doing that jugaad to get the 80% cost saving, right? I would have never read about it anywhere unless until I would have come to an event like this and spoken to people around.
Pavan's parting shot.
Yeah, I think it's a great initiative by Republic for this RBETA Awards for, you know, appreciating and understanding technology. I feel that, you know, we should work just like how Republic is. Technology made in India for the world. Products made in India for the world market. This is the right time.
Thank you.
I think it's a great platform for the startups to come and showcase their talent. Ritesh was speaking about exporting not only manufacturing goods, but this provides us an opportunity. What Arnav was also speaking about, Republic Global coming. Similarly, there is a SaaSification which can happen, which can be exported to the Western world, right? India can be a tech south of the world, where a lot of technology can go. But one last comment which I would love to present here is, whenever you're using Gen AI for building anything, make sure you have all the data security and privacy very well baked in, and you're using responsible and ethical AI, so that whatever we build can be adopted with closed eyes by Western world as well. Thank you.
Jasleen.
I think one very important thing about technology is that it is category agnostic in the sense that if you can't track it, you can't impact it. I think that's the lingo that goes in the tech world. That for you to make any decision of improving your efficiency, of optimizing the way you're working, you need to have your baseline figures. And there is nothing in the world that can help you get the grip and reality of what your baseline figures are than technology. So technology becomes the precursor and catalyst for all the efficiencies and optimizations you want to drive. And I think secondly, with respect to also automobile, I think we forget that when you're talking about a vehicle, you're also talking about the area where that vehicle is going to move, and that is a city. And when you talk about urban cities, planned cities, the role of technology and AI is super important, because if you do not have a smart city in place, the whole dream of having an autonomous vehicle probably looks a little dicey. So I think technology, for us to be more effective, be more optimized, no matter what category we are in, plays a very, very important role.
Ladies and gentlemen, the automobile sector is so vast. If you really sit to talk about it, you'll talk and talk. Any which ways, thank you to the distinguished panel. Thank you for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hand together for the panel which spoke about Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi and much beyond. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you all. Thank you so much.